Hurricane Ian almost certainly will cause some erosion along our beaches.
But the people living in the Leonardo Arms condos on Estero Island are especially nervous, and they have reason to be. NBC2's Gage Goulding is there talking to some homeowners.
Yeah, and you said they have reason to be, and there's a reason, because on a normal day, during normal times, they are about 15 feet away from the Gulf of Mexico. 15 feet. That's not very far to separate the building and the actual Gulf of Mexico. And right now, take a look at this. I'm going to show you. The water's actually heading out a little bit. I don't know if our photographer's head can actually show us where the water is. This is the most beach that they've seen in years. And believe it or not, this beach actually used to extend, I want you to use your imagination here, 300 feet out into the Gulf. It was a hike. Actually, it was a football field. You had to traverse 100 yards to get out into the ocean. Now, that's not the case. And as we look off to the right here, can we show these sandbags, these big black bags that are sitting on the ground over here? That's the only thing that is holding the sand, the earth, back towards this building. It's the only line of defense, if you will. Think of it as the only line of the defense. They have no seawall. They have nothing to separate the waters and this building. Now let's talk about the storm surge that this area is forecast to get up to 12 feet. Worst case scenario, 12 feet of storm surge. That's what we could see here. Well, the fear is that these sandbags might not be able to hold up, and then we could see some problems. Don Prow, you've lived here for a number of years, and you're still here right now. Tell me, this area is obviously under evacuation. Now, we are on the 6th floor. Hopefully, the water's not getting up that high, right?
If it gets up this high, you guys will be swimming out of here.
You and me both, right? So what made you want to stay during the storm here?
Because, well, I just come down on Sunday from up in Minnesota, and I ain't too worried about the building having too much happening to this half, but it could happen to the other half if the sand come in, swirled around the footings and washed it out. And what's really bad about it is where the condo association's willing to fix the wall, but we get hung up in red tape all the time, and that's kind of bad news because Florida, the biggest industry is tourism, and you think that they'd want to take care of this stuff.
And the goal is to eventually put a seawall in to replace where the sandbags are right now. But, you know, we've been talking with FWC, we've been talking with the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, excuse me, as well as your condo association. And the hang-up right now is turtle season and shorebird nesting season. And the plan is, I talked to the condo president just a little bit ago. He says, Gage, November 1, we are ready to start building this seawall. But you're still waiting on the permits. Is that frustrating as an owner, knowing that?
Absolutely. It's a large investment. We've all paid in to make it cover it so we can pay for it, and it's real frustrating. It just doesn't make sense to me how that's all working with them holding up the permits. It's almost like they want the building to fall in the water.
And you've led me right into my next question. The president here, if you've been watching this coverage that we've had since earlier in the spring, the president's been saying we're one storm away from devastation. Do you believe that? Do you believe that a storm could wall up this building and cause?
A big enough storm could do that, and it could take down one whole half of this building. And just think of the tax dollars that brings in for the state of Florida, and they don't give you no rhyme or reason why they ain't letting us go ahead to do what we're supposed to do. We've paid our association fees in on it, so the money's there. We just need somebody to say, let's go.
And let's talk about the storm. You're riding out the storm. You got the shutters ready to come on down. What's your plan? You stocked up on food? You stocked up on the drinks?
Yep, I stocked up on food. We got this building actually was hurricane-proofed for the insurance company about 6 years ago, so everybody's got hurricane glass in, and as well as the shutters, and so we're in good condition that way, and it's an all-concrete building, and on the 6th floor, if the water gets this high, there'll be a few people swimming before me.
That's right. So this area, Fort Myers Beach, we could see up to about 12 feet of storm surge. That's worst case scenario. That's what the forecast is, up to 12 feet. I was talking to the condo president. I keep talking about him. We had a good conversation just before we did this live hit not too long ago. And I told him this because last time we spoke, last time he thought it was about 7 feet is the max forecast. Well, I told him it's actually going to be 12 feet. He said, Gage, if we get all that, if you'd be sitting on my couch right now, on my first floor condo, you would be underwater. So just to put it into perspective for you here, a lot of eyes, a lot of interest here on the Leonardo Arms community. As for the conditions right now, oh, I'm sorry.
In a 12-foot surge would really be a lot of water for this building on the end down there where that's washing out. I mean, it takes a storm like that to make that happen.
Absolutely, and that's why all the eyes are on this building. There's 60 units here, so there's at least 60 eyes watching this building, hoping and praying that there is no worst case scenario here and that those sandbags can hold up. We'll send it back to you now from live on Fort Myers Beach.